HTJ.tax, the international tax firm for 6, 7, and 8-figure investors and entrepreneurs who are living that international life. Are you ready?
Okay, somebody's asking about being resident, not being tax resident anywhere. So I'm assuming that you're not American, right? Because as I mentioned, once you're a US person, you're subject to taxes on your worldwide income, regardless of where you are, right? Doesn't matter. If it is that you're not American, then yeah, it's not as easy as people make it out to be on the internet, but it is possible. You just need to keep moving. You need to be constantly moving, but it is possible. But what we have found with our clients, our clients are 6 and 7 figure earners, right? So their situation is important. And if something happens, the consequences could be dire for them. So even though people talk about taxes when it comes to being a perpetual nomad, they don't often think about banking and banking rules. So what the governments have been doing, they've been using financial institutions as police, more or less. So you've heard about FATCA for Americans. There's something called CRS, so the Common Reporting Standard, or the Automatic Exchange of Information for non-Americans. But basically, they're also under that, so these are just frameworks for information exchange. So even though you think that the UK doesn't know what you're doing in Bali, that bank account, that bank that you're banking in managerial, whichever bank you're using in Bali, may be reporting you to the UK. Or if you're doing something in Singapore, but you're a tax resident in Bali, then the bank in Singapore is probably maybe reporting you to the Indonesian tax office. So there's that exchange of information going on. But there's also the tax authorities, if it is that you are a tax resident and not doing the right thing, they can catch up with you. But the banking rules, the AML rules and client KYC rules, so anti-money laundering and know your customer rules. So they always need to know how you're earning money. So if it is that you are independently wealthy and all you're doing is living off interest, well, that's fine. But if it is your money being earned in some way, shape, or form, the bank would need to verify that it's legit. And banks feel very uncomfortable when you can't give them a fixed place of abode. They get very, very nervous. And their knee-jerk reaction is just to close their account and get rid of you. Alternatively, sometimes, when there's an audit or whatever, and they just want to update their records, making sure the KYC stuff is being done, and they don't know where you're being taxed, because that is a question they're going to ask you, where you're tax resident. They get very uncomfortable if you can't tell them. And, I give the story all the time. We've had several clients in Southeast Asia who've been living there for a while, and obviously were banking there. And they're originally from parts of Europe. At some point in time, they want to return to Europe. Whether in one case, one guy his mom was not doing well health-wise, so he wanted to go back to his European country of origin. And, he gets back home and he's trying to wire money from his Southeast Asian bank to his European bank, and they're blocking it. Why? Because they need to verify this transaction. How was this money earned? And if he can't demonstrate that, and no bank really would accept an invoice, really, because give anybody 5 minutes on Microsoft Excel and they have an invoice, right? What they look for to make them feel comfortable, they'll ask for different things, but I think one thing that makes most banks feel very comfortable is a tax return. A tax return from a government, it's a government document that says this money has been declared, this money has been taxed, it's clean, it's legit. Nothing to see here. So circling back to your question, you can be a perpetual nomad, you can be resident nowhere, but be conscious of the banking rules, and you may be blocked or, prevented. You may be kicked out of the banking system, or unable to transfer your money internationally because you can't prove it, right? And even that bank where it's being held right now, they may eventually have problems. So just a heads up.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.